All right, so the oil cooler is in place now. What? I'm not even zoomed in. Alright guys, so today we're going to be installing actually an oil cooler, but it's a little unconventional. They do make a kit for this and this is a 2015 Ford Focus ST, by the way. But they do make a kit that literally comes with everything you're going to need to do the installation and everything like that. But I managed to piece together a couple things, you know, to save some money. And this actually is an oil cooler from an E30 BMW. So I managed to get a hold of that from a friend. And then this right here was probably the most expensive part, one of the most expensive parts. And this is the Mishimoto thermostatic sandwich plate for your oil filter. And pretty much this takes place of the filter location from factory, and what it does is it takes this little, I guess you say reverse thread bung here, and then it'll screw into the factory location, sealing it right here. And then this is actually going to allow you to relocate the filter location to this sandwich plate, and then from there it'll direct the oil through the lines and then back in here so we can cool your oil. Now this is a thermostatic sandwich plate, which means the oil has to get to a certain temperature before it is sent through the cooler and the whole cooling system. So that's actually pretty cool because it allows your car to warm up properly before it starts actually cooling the oil. So I mean, it's pretty effective and allows you to warm up your car efficiently. So yeah, first step would be to, you know, raise the car up, get on jack stands on the front, and then at this point it's just an oil change. It's just a little more complicated. So yeah, let's start doing that. So while Ben is going to be draining the oil, I am going to work on getting the front bumper off. That way we can find a mounting place for the actual cooler and kind of get an idea of how long the lines are going to be. That way we can cut them based on where these fittings are going to end up under the car where the oil filter goes. So yeah, I'm just going to start draining everything and get the old filter off.
She launched.
Doesn't it smell like corn? Smell it.
Kind of. Bro, this alternator though.
Alright, so if you own this car, I'm pretty sure you've seen plenty of videos of how to take the bumper off, but lights have to come off. It's just the screw up here, one screw down here in this area for both sides, and then there's a couple screws up top. They're obviously visible. It's going to be the one that goes here, one that goes here, one that, and these are actually, these two right here, these are actually little clips, and then the other screws are going to be right here, and then there's one that comes into this spot. Like I said, if you own this car enough, there's some screws on the bottom as well. I'm pretty sure you know how to take the bumper off, and make sure when you do take the bumper off, you disconnect the fog lights, which are right there. Okay, now the bumper's off. Ben's just plugging the oil back up and taking the filter off. That way we can get an idea of where we're going to be mounting these fittings here. We have a variety of fittings we could use, like 45s and just straight connectors for the hose here. So we're going to figure out the length we need. We're going to find a mounting point for the oil cooler first. So we're going to have to try to figure out where we're going to mount it. It might be temporary for now, or, you know, because we're kind of rushed for time, but we just want to see if the entire system will work, and we can get it going. So yeah, we're going to work on finding a good place for the oil cooler right now, and then get all the fitment right, and then show you guys what we have after.
Make sure when you're putting a new oil filter on, you put some oil on this O-ring. You don't want it to tear. gang.
Oh. Alright, so we went ahead and created a custom bracket here. So it's going to mount to these little clips here on the actual bash bar in the front here. And this is going to hold, these two are going to hold this bracket in place. While these other holes right here, we're going to use to mount the oil cooler, which is out here getting painted. So it'll look nice and black after we're finished. And pretty much we have washers that are going to be big enough to fit the holes on the oil cooler. We'll show you later, but we're going to be able to stick some bolts through the bottom just like we did with these here. There's bolts that's sticking out with some nuts on the top. And then that'll secure the oil cooler right here. And then we'll show you, it's actually really good for the airflow because it'll have a direct path for air to go into the oil cooler. So yeah, it should turn out real good. So before, when I got this, the fittings were made for like a BMW hose, but we actually had my buddy, or our buddy Alex, weld up these little aluminum AN lines right here. He did a really good job at doing that for such a tight space and such little time. But yeah, we'll give him a shout out right now, put his Instagram out there. But yeah, he really hooked it up with this, and he's pretty much gonna make this whole thing work for me. So yeah, let's slap it on. Alright, so the oil cooler is in place now. These are those washers that we were telling you about that we're gonna fit on the ends here. And it mounts it securely to the this little bash bar location. And our clearances are actually really tight, but this is plastic here, so it won't really work its way into the aluminum fitting here. And then that's gonna clear right there, so we should be good there. Now we're just gonna work on getting everything routed on the bottom for the sandwich plate there, and then we're gonna be cutting the lines. We're gonna take everything, all the lines out, cut them, and then make sure that everything fits before we tighten everything down. So yeah, we'll get into that and show you guys that after. So right now we measured out our feed line here. So this is going to be our feed line, and I figured why not show you guys how to do the AN fitting. So pretty much you just take the end that would go onto the hose for the AN fitting itself, and you try to get it on as much as possible to where you'll see it if you have it in your hands, but the threads end at a certain point. You want the hose to be resting at that little ledge there. That way when you thread it on to this right here, the other end of the fitting, it'll sandwich it inside of that end, and that's what creates the seal. So yeah, just work on doing that, what he's doing right now, and pushing the hose into that part of the fitting to where it reaches the bottom of the threads. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this, insert it, see how it's got this little, it's got this conical shape to it, and that'll help guide it into the hose, and then that'll and you just kind of thread it onto the threads here, and that'll create your seal.
So we just bolted everything up, ran the lines, got all the ends put on them, and we're gonna prime the system. So we're just gonna lift this, pour oil in there, let it run through the whole system, and then put a little bit of oil in here, bolt it up, set it down, and then yeah, primed.
So before we do that, we got to get the filter on. So we have it right here. Here's the Mishimoto sandwich plate, the thermostatic sandwich plate, and we got all the AN fittings that we needed to make it clear. It's really tight in here, so just remember that, like, if you have a focus and you're doing this, it's really tight in this area, so you kind of have to get creative. And we just left this here as a label for the feed. That way we knew which one was feed in return. But yeah, we're gonna get everything primed here after I get the filter on. Prime the filter, spin it on, and then start getting ready to button her up. Alright, so we got everything buttoned up here, ready for her first start. So yeah, we're going to get ready and start her up, see if we have any leaks. We already encountered one leak on the bottom from a semi-loose fitting, just because when we were moving everything around, it kind of jostled it up, but we believe we got it taken care of because it's not leaking anymore. And we're gonna see if we can find any leaks while it's under pressure. So wish us luck. So we got it running. We've observed and we have found no leaks so far. Just mainly residue from our messes earlier, but we should be good to go. I'm going to take it out for a test drive. We'll fill up, make sure everything is good, make sure it gets operating temp, and actually does its job and the thermostat opens when it's supposed to. But we found that there's some clearance issues with the radiator fan shroud, so we're probably going to have to remove some material from that just to prevent the fitting that we have down there from hitting anything and possibly loosening. So we're going to cut just a section out of the shroud, just so we don't have any contact to keep away from anything becoming loose later in the future. So yeah, I think we're going to do that, get everything back together, and then I'm going to go take it for a test drive. Alright, car's all back together and back on the ground. So we're about to drive to the gas station. I'm gonna fill up on ethanol and gas, and then when we're there, we'll see if there's any leaks. But we're having our fingers crossed that there are no leaks. It's actually pretty cool the way it turned out. You can maybe you can see them. The lines are right there, and then you can clearly see the cooler. Hold on, let me get a light. There it is right there. It's got perfect access to airflow, so yeah, we should be good in that department. It should be actually doing its job and what we put it on the car to do. So yeah, we're gonna get it up to temp, fill her up, and then we'll let you guys know how she's performing. It's been a little over a week since we last filmed this install. I just wanted to make sure that all the leaks were accounted for that we encountered. We had one leak on the bottom of the where the sandwich plate was, where the AN fitting connected to the sandwich plate. We managed to fix that leak and actually get rid of it completely. And then we had another leak on the end tank of one of the sides of the oil cooler. It was this side in particular. We took our own approach and kind of made some temporary modifications to it. I'm definitely going to be getting another cooler, but this is working for right now, and we have no leaks in the system at all. So just to give you a better look at the entire thing, I'm going to pop the hood. Yeah, just so you get an idea of what it looks like and what the finished product looks like from the hood perspective. You can see right here, let me get a light, all the lines right here. I don't know if you can get in there, Ben. Yeah, so the two feed lines are right here, or the feed and the return are right there. You can see them. They go all the way down to the sandwich plate. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely functional. It's keeping the temperatures down more so than when I didn't have it. I have tested it, and it's summertime, so it's going to be naturally hot, and I did see a difference in oil temperatures, and even when the car was being pushed. So I mean, I'd call it overall success, but I'm definitely going to invest in another cooler and then maybe update the lines, just because I'd rather have something steel braided. But this was we're in a time crunch just because when we installed it, we don't want to have to take it all off, drain everything, and then start from scratch again. But yeah, overall I'm really satisfied with what we did. I mean, it's kind of a budget way of doing it yourself instead of buying the $560 Mishimoto kit that they make. So the only thing Mishimoto that I got was a sandwich plate, and everything else was just sourced out from different websites. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It's actually showing results of cooler oil temps and everything like that. So if anybody's out there that has this car and you're thinking about bringing it to a track or driving it like aggressively, I definitely recommend getting an oil cooler of some sort, or another method of your cooling. You can vent the hood, which I'm going to be doing in the future. You can create better, airflow in the front bumper with the grill and drilling out the holes to make a better airflow. But until we get to that point, this is what we got for now. Just prepare me for the track and getting me to where I want to be before we swap a new engine in. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. It's not really like a perfect like how-to, but I just wanted to show you guys that you can, do it your own way. You don't have to go out of your way and spend the big bucks just to be able to achieve the same goal. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you like, comment if you have any questions, and follow us on Instagram as well. Put it like right here. Instagram is right there. So yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next video.